Welcome to the Draft Brewery. Dr. Speaker DC here. We got a loser on the die roll to start the top four. The Magic the Gathering Strat League here versus Bava. Yeah, rolling a 5 and then having your opponent roll a 6. That's pretty much exactly how the tone of this match goes. Let's see what we get. Good luck, have fun is shared. So yeah, I want to give a lot of insights into what I'm thinking during this match because I wouldn't call it a good one, but there's a lot of decisions, like a lot. So this hand's perfect because we can find a plains, the wilds to make everything castable. So we're on the draw. He's got a dual land, and wouldn't you know, he's white-red, so he's playing what looks to be a similar version of our deck. So I turn one, lead with Crusader, planning to either choose a Bite Heliod at next turn or Jeskai Student. His play is Hoplite, Dragon Mantle, Go. So if I had a card to like Magma Spray or Lightning Strike or anything like that, it would be a pretty good spot. But he kind of, like if I was playing mono red right here, that'd be a good play for me. But if he knows that I'm on red-white and I don't have that in my list, it's pretty safe for him to do that play. So I draw a land here. So here we can either play the Student or the Chosen. I do want to protect this guy, and I don't want the Student to get hit by, like, he could have Fall the Hammer or something as well, which would kill this too, even through Chosen, but this at least guarantees that we draw a card. But I play the Wild, so I guess my thought was I'd rather play turn 3 Wingsteed Rider since he's on this deck. I probably don't expect him to have any removal spells, so I want to play Wingsteed Rider and try to race him in the air pretty quickly, since even if I make this a 1/3, I can't block it because he has Dragon Mantle to make it bigger, and I play this and I can't block it anyway either, so I figure I'm taking beats this turn anyway, so I might as well play the Wingsteed Rider next turn. Anik Bondkin, that's a good, and Crusader. So yeah, he is laying down the beatdowns. So I draw God's Willing, which is solid. And because he played so much pressure out here, I'm a little too scared to run Wingsteed Rider out. And so I'd rather try to stop him from attacking by leaving God's Willing open. Might have been better just to run the Wingsteed Rider out. So this is like one of the worst plays possible that happens, and it has to do with me being an idiot. So he says, my take on your list, love the Bondkin though. So his comment is so next level, because if I'm paying attention at all, I'd never make this play about what I'm about to do. So I'm thinking I can God's Willing my guy, give it protection from red, put the land on bottom, and then he's tapped out. He's got a 5/3, and I've got 3 power right here. So I go ahead and double block. And let's resolve damage. Oh, so when we resolve first strike damage, my guys just get eaten. So yeah, Anik Bondkin gives your team first strike if you didn't know that. Apparently I didn't know that. And I've not only been blown out by this in limited. I actually blew out Sam Black in a team draft. Grand Prix Los Angeles. The same stupid interaction. It's like, I don't know why, I can't remember. That gives first strike. So I don't think it's a huge deal, but I threw away a Jeskai Student for no reason. But this thing with Inferno Fist on it is a huge problem. So yeah, we comment on how dumb I am. Just draw some lands. Get in for one, because I can't block anything profitably anyway, except chumping. Instead of taking 7, I decide to let my 1/1 die. So I can finally play a Wingspeed Rider. You know, if I played one earlier, maybe I could have been racing it a little bit, but here I make another pretty bad play by attacking with my 1/3 into his feet. Gives his guy, wouldn't you know it, more first strike per red, so I get to eat his 1/1, but trade for my Crusader, so like basically after I made the bad double block, I could have guessed that I have like 0 chance of winning this game. So it looks like his deck is a little bit more like my original version. I cut Satyr Hoplite and I cut Inferno Fist. And I never played Bonkin, but I think that's like a decent 1 or 2 of, because of all the +1/+1 counters running around. Which is actually really good for like this guy. If it's a 5/3 without first strike, it can't even attack past something, you know, like a Death Touch creature on the ground or a Rot Feast or Maggot or whatever. I was finding like the black and green decks just brick wall them so bad. So it's tough if you're playing against a deck that has like removal. You attack with this, expecting them not to be able to block because they have first strike, and then they just like Pharika's Cure, Magma Spray, Lightning Strike your guy, and then eat your guy or trade with it. You lose all that investment. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear this game. It's just about nothing I can do to stop a huge team of first strikers, so I just scoop. Sideboarding's really tough. Again, this is actually, I think, probably the first time I've ever played the mirror in a tournament where it's like, you know, competent player, very skillfully built deck with some nice little tunes to it to update it. So I figure he has Scouring Sands, so I'll take out my Chrome Crusader guy, and I figure he has Hopeful Eidolon, so I'll bring in my erases. I have 2 erase. I bring in 3 Lightning Strike for additional removal, and I bring in I think like 1 Pillar of Light for this second game, and then I end up bringing in more later. But I want to be able to potentially remove any of these guys. Pillar of Light is a weird card because it wouldn't stop like these things at 5/3 and 5/2. But I figure if I play a little bit more removal and we slow the game down a little bit, the creatures will tend to get bigger. If they don't, then I'm just dead. So I gotta try to stabilize the early game and not keep. My hand was good. I just made a bad block and just got savagely outdrawn. Wingspeed Rider is not for this matchup. It's probably actually a lot worse in this matchup just because it's slow. It costs 3 mana. This thing's bringing the beats as fast as possible. So cards that we took out: Crusader, Defiant Strike. I want to improve my toughness, but I don't really care about that. Maybe like 1 Dragon Mantle. Maybe the Gonna Ban Trailblazers, something like that. Alright, so given the option to play first here, I actually just put in a ton of removal in my deck. And I actually brought in my Scouring Sands as well. Mainly because he has a ton of X1s. Not just a Crone Crusader, but it can kill a lot of... It can potentially get a 2-for-1 with other cards, so... I bring in a lot of removal here, so I actually choose to draw first. Because I want him to play guys, and then I want to play my removal spells. And then I have more cards. So here I've got 2 Skyguard 5-land it's pretty close, but I think it's a mulligan because lands are awful draws. Other creatures are pretty not good draws. In order for these things to be threats, they have to survive, so we have to draw cantrips and or protect. And a protection spell is not that great because he's just not going to target it in the early game. So it's just like a very not aggressive hand, but also not a very good hand at dealing with anything that he presents if he presents an aggressive hand. So I think it's close, but it's an easy mulligan for me. Here, this hand is pretty crap, but I think I keep it. My thoughts being, if I draw lands, I might have a chance. Scouring Sands to draw. And right on time, draw the mountain. I figure next turn, if he plays like Chosen by Heliod on his guy or anything, I'm not going to be able to kill it at all. So I need to slow him down somewhat. I also get a Scry, and Pillar of Light, while solid, is not a land, so that goes on the bottom. There's another Skyguard, figures. Well, I get my land, which is good. I also get to crack the wilds immediately, which means my Pillar of Light is not on the bottom anymore, which is pretty good, because that card is going to potentially be solid in this matchup. So yeah, so he makes that play, Chosen by Heliod. And he makes it right into the Lightning Strike or Last Breath or whatever I could have because he's got God's Willing or Feet of Resistance open. So here he plays a Student. He's got 4 toughness, so again, in that spot here, Last Breath would have been very good. So we thought I'd play Wingsteed Rider, get something on the board, hope it doesn't die, just take beats, so I only take 3. 0-4 and 1-1, don't really care. So here, I want to get this guy to have enough toughness to be able to block and slow his attack down. I'm trying to hit a 4th land as well, but I miss. Stop him from attacking, hit the 4th land. Play the other Wingsteeds, and the goal is pretty much for the whole rest of the game to hold open God's Willings, just in case he has anything. Pillar of Light, you know, whatever, kill shot to get rid of my guy. So here I make a pretty gutsy attack. I kind of misplay because I fail to realize he has 2/4 flying blocker. If he blocks and I don't want to lose my guy, like I have to God's Willing in order to save it. But I guess, see, if I'm in his spot and let's say he has God's Willing or Feet of Resistance in hand as well, I would definitely block because it makes me use the spell, and then he just uses the spell right back, and it's kind of like on parity. But if I attack and like I don't have Feet of Resistance, you know, things are looking pretty good for him. You know, because I could God's Willing and he could just say sure and do nothing and just like have gotten a God's Willing out of me for no reason. But it's like, I'm not that. This is a cool thing that happens too. Like, if he thinks I'm a good player, then he doesn't think I'm going to attack and with a bad play. So he makes a safe play of not blocking. No, I debated for a long time whether to play the next Skyguard or the next Jeskai Student as well here. But I figured, you know what? Let's just be safe. If he has Pillar of Light, I don't want him to exile my 3/5 flyer, then I basically just lose the game. So in this spot here, he hopeful Eidolons, which is fine. And he attacks with these guys, but I can totally block here. And if he plays a spell to God's Willing his guy, you know, if he makes it pro-white, he's going to lose his enchantments, which is bad for him. I could pro 8, and I don't mind losing this enchantment that much. But he could make it like pro red, just to make it a 5/7, and that would eat my guy. And then I would have to make it go pro white, and eventually end up with a 4/4. But he just passes and is content gaining 4 life and doing nothing else. So here, I just want to draw cards again, try to hit lands so that I can finally play this Hopeful Eidolon. Chosen my Heliod, that is good, makes another Wingseed Rider a little bigger. Lightning Strike, so at this stage in the game, Lightning Strike doesn't look that good, but we can hit him for 3. He's drawing lands and it's a little flooded. We were kind of the opposite. We kept a 1-lander, and we got there. We hit perfect on turn 2, scry, bottom perfect on turn 3. Maybe not perfect, but pretty good. So I'm just content adding a guy to the board. Now playing another Hopeful Eidolon on the same creature, this has got to be like his biggest mistake of the entire game. He really should have put that on Lagana-Band Trailblazer, because otherwise that card's doing nothing. So that's where I would have put it. So my hand is not quite ready to attack with Hopeful Eidolon. But this turn it is, because I still have the God's Willing to protect. Still not ready to attack though, so we got to do a little dance here. He is just growing to see that one guy a ton, because it's his only flyer, so I guess he's got to keep on parallel with me. So he's got it to 8 power, and my one guy only has 8 toughness, and I again don't want to. I don't want to have to play or block my 6/8, make it pro white, and then lose my Hopeful Eidolon. So I decided to just chump here. I don't really want to take 8 and go to 7. It gives him too much control of the tempo of the game. Another Hopeful Eidolon's pretty solid, because I can bestow here, diversify my threats, and now I can crash back for 11. So he did gain 4 and then 8, gain 12, but he didn't deal me more than, he didn't deal me 8 damage last turn, so I get to get ahead on the damage race, 17-26 here. He'll pump, deal 12. So we go right back, 29-14. So I just keep drawing more protection spells, so I figure just for a little extra value, play this thing. Give it pro red so my stuff doesn't fall off. So I pumped my Dragon Mantle guy a little bit too, so enough to be ahead of this much in the race that he doesn't want to keep racing. So yeah, we're all just kind of flooding our creatures aboard and kind of stalemated now, so just going to keep playing some guys. So you got one consequence of my team is that they're all white. Big white team. So we can pro white, beat down for 3, check the coast. I could Lightning Strike, but again, I don't want to tap out of white pretty much ever. Because if I do, I'm pretty vulnerable. He kept in Defiant Strike. Okay, he's got a couple. Another God's Willing pro white, so bam, taking 8. So he's using his cards and God's Willing stuff proactively just to deal me some damage, which scares me and prompts me to think of how I can win a little bit sooner. So wouldn't you know it, I figured it out. Attack with everybody. He's got a big white lifelink that's going to block one of these two. Oops. And that's his blocks. So right now I'm getting through for 1, 2, 3. Plus 6 is 9, so I only need to deal 5 more damage to him when he's done. He only has 1 white. So I can lightning strike him. And then to deal 2 more, I can Johnny's Presence, anything. And still have someone to lightning strike him. I also had a God's Willing this guy and make it protection from white. I lose lifelink and all my stuff, but it makes it so that this guy doesn't gain him any life this turn. That's the whole reason why this attack is possible. It's because I can make that play. Other play would be like to try to kill this creature somehow that this guy was blocking, but not possible. So Johnny's Presence, my guy. If he tries to respond, I have 2 power removal spells, or protection removal spells, protection from removal spells, and we get there. So pretty cool. Stabilization, building up a crazy team, you know, trading some lifelink damage, and then ultimately not fighting at all. So last game 3 here. Similar sideboarding here. I think I put in the rest of the Pillar of Lights though. I figure that he probably took out Scouring, or a Crone Crusader. So I only left in like 1 copy of Scouring Sands. Yep, and there's my 1 copy and my 1 land, and this hand doesn't do anything. This hand, on the other hand, at least has a Wingsteed Rider, but no way to cast it. So, yeah, this hand is just a lot better if Wingsteed Rider set or Hoplite. Scouring Sands is back. Pillar of Light is back, so he's got his 2/2. So he's holding up in white. That's good. He's smart. Smart to not let that tap low. Verno Fist. This card is brutal. Deals so much damage. Now I could go for the lightning strike here, but he ends up playing a protection spell and actually just dealing me an extra point of damage. Now I could lightning strike end of turn, but unless if I have an untapped land, I don't want to do it. So I don't think I have to do it now. I do hit the untapped land, so I didn't think about that during the game. Maybe I should have just done it anyway, because then he has to play God's Willing or even Defiant Strike. I guess he could play a red spell for 1 and then leave a white protection spell open. But I figure now that I know I have the untapped land, I can go lightning strike this guy followed by Pillar. So he decides to lead off with Defiant Strike, which is I think good for me, because even if he has a way to protect him right now, I can slip the lightning strike in under this heroic trigger, force him to use something to pump his guy. He has Feet of Resistance, so he gives it protection from black since it's bigger than the lightning strike. And he doesn't want to get pro red. That'll make him lose his enchantments. So I take a whopping 9 that turn, but that's kind of rough. The fact that he has a follow-up creature is definitely rough. Because this next turn, I draw a land again, so I'm drawing pretty well with lands, but I have to Pillar of Light this guy while he's tapped out. So that leaves me a little vulnerable to anything on this guy. Inferno Fist. Again, one of the worst follows for me. So I'm effectively at 1. All he needed to do was brick, have no... Like, if he had, like, 2 other creatures, that would have been great, because I could have Scouring Sands them. Even just a non-threatening creature like Jeskai Student, like Autobahn Trailblazer, could have survived that stuff by just, like, playing Wingsteed Rider next turn and leave open, like, God's Willing into Johnny's Presence, but instead, I'm left to do that here. If he really wants to, he could end a turn. If he has any heroic enablers, I would just Inferno Fist my guy end a turn, tap me out, and then untap with all of this mana and 4 cards. So it's his turn and he goes for it. 1 mana, shock my guy. Obviously, after protected, give it protection from red. Keep the Lightning Strike, because if I'm not dead, then I can kill his guy next turn, potentially. And have the same play of, like, Lightning Strike his guy, he goes to protect it, let the heroic trigger resolve, and then Pillar of Light it. But he ends my dreams, though, and he has another protection spell to give his guy Pro White, which is lethal. That is game, boys. So, congrats to Bava. Nice win. Good luck in the finals. We've got, Boros Heroic was being represented from this semifinal bracket no matter what. I think both of us are pretty confident that it's just a very good deck. And I've mixed it up. I actually put in these Ajani's Presence over the Inferno Fist. But I can see with Anik Bondkin, Inferno Fist, and Hoplite, the deck is really fast in that respect, and maybe that is the best version of it. Just depends on the matchup, and if you're planning on running into a lot of ground creatures with Death Touch and stuff like that. But I even like Inferno Fist against them, because you can shock them away and still get your heroic trigger. And it actually adds your damage to the creature, so it's a little better than Fall the Hammer, in my opinion. So overall, great little tweaks and tuning done by Bava to the Boros deck. The faster version, the better draws, the better play. I definitely deserve to lose because, bad blocking, missing first strike, kind of the game 2 where I mulliganed and kept a 1-lander. I got bottlenecked on land, but found the line to finally win. And then game 3 had the mold. I think, what was it? Was it this one? Maybe this, I can't even remember. Again, short-term memory loss. But either way, I had a fun time in the league. I like these sorts of things, and being able to change the deck every time was pretty cool and interesting. It just helps it helps when you know your opponents more, so you can metagame against them, which I don't necessarily like. I like it when you pick a deck for a tournament and have to stick with it for the whole tournament. But when it's a format like Standard Pauper that's been around, it hasn't changed for numerous months now, it's pretty sweet to be able to mix it up, because it just gets kind of boring. But like if you're doing a random variant, kind of like the M-Core All-Star League or the Multicolor Mayhem League, people don't have all the cards for all those. So if you want to switch decks, it's just a lot of work and a lot of time consumed doing it. But yeah. So good luck, Bava, and I'm not sure who else is in the finals yet, but good luck to the other guy too. I'll be rooting for good games and good video replays, and that's that. So looking forward. Definitely check out Gwyned's sealed league for Standard Pauper, all common sealed, which is like a cool mix of like PTQ level sealed deck, Grand Prix level sealed deck, but only commons, which is just awesome because a lot of the time sealed comes down to bombs, and you feel like there's nothing you can do. But I feel like this format's going to be great because it's going to just kind of be a fundamental deck building exercise, and some decks will be busted if they get numerous of the power commons, the mythic commons we'll call them. But be sure to check that out in January when he posts more info about that at the writeradept.blogspot.com. And he had stuff on puremtgo.com. He had stuff on Twitter. It's everywhere, so make sure you check it out and join up. Alright, thanks for watching, and that concludes Draft Brewery's time in this league. See you at the next one. Thanks for watching.